Good evening and welcome to tonight's episode of FPL Ambassador Show. As usual, we have the three corporates here. My name is Rowland and I'm here with Raymond, the FPL Ambassador, and Marlvin. Hello, Raymond. How are you doing?
Fine. I'm fine, Rowland. Nice to have
Hello,
FPL
Marlvin.
back. In fact, I'm
Sharp. Hi, Marlvin. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Good to be here once again.
So, we have a packed night for you guys on the FPL Ambassador Show tonight. So, let's get it started. So, first, we want to look at the Euros. Okay, so far, FPL Ambassador, how have you seen the games and what's your take on the round of 16?
So far, I think all the teams have showed their character so far. We can tell which teams can deal with the various situations in games. And as predicted, we were expecting Portugal, Italy, France, and I think England also to make it through to the semis. And they've all qualified. So it means that our predictions are on point. But the challenge now would be which of them will be able to make it into the latter stages and into the final as well. I still tip the France team to be a very solid team.
Okay.
Yes, but I can't tell for that. As for now, I'm sure France definitely will be in the semi-final. Yeah.
Okay.
Marlvin.
How about you, Marlvin?
I think honestly the best games pretty much came at the last bit, which was yesterday, when France faced Portugal, the 2-2 draw. Same with Germany and Hungary. I think even though Hungary are not moving forward, I think they deserve a lot of plaudits because I think they really held themselves together. It's rather unfortunate, but the group was a tight group. And I mean, moving into the last 16, I think some of the fixtures really pop out, which is England versus Germany and Belgium versus Portugal. You know, those two fixtures really stick out to me. So I think the best is still yet to come.
Yeah, sure. Looking at the fixtures that we have on the screen, I am thinking that it's going to be tough for those on the left. That is the Belgium, Portugal, Italy, France, Croatia, and Spain. You know, they kind of have tough fixtures to go through. But looking at the other side of it, England, Germany, I mean, the rest of the teams, Czech Republic, Wales, Denmark. What do you guys think about that? I think that it will be tough for anyone on this side, which is the Belgium side, to get to the final than on the England side to get to the final.
Yeah, I think you have a point there. I mean, aside maybe the England-Germany game, the other game that's might be a bit tricky is I think is it Croatia versus Czech Republic? Is that what it is? Or I've messed it up.
Croatia. Yes.
Or is it?
No. Croatia is not Czech Republic.
No, Netherlands, Czech Republic.
Netherlands.
Which one?
Netherlands are the top scorers in this Euro so far with 8 goals. I think they're doing what
Netherlands versus Czech Republic.
Is Wales versus Denmark?
Yes, Wales versus Denmark, and then Netherlands versus Czech Republic.
I think that's a tricky game because I think they matched themselves quite well. I think that's what I was looking at. Yeah, so that's a tricky game for that side. But I think out on the right hand side, I think it's really England versus Germany that really stands out.
Yeah, we can only hope that it's coming home this time around because with these fixtures, if they don't get to the finals, I don't know when England can again get to the finals. Look at these teams. Honestly, what I've realized over time and competitions past, right, is that those who really struggle to get, who get tough teams to play, when they get to the finals, it's like they're exhausted. And the team on the other side wins it. If you look back at Portugal, when Portugal won it against France, France played difficult teams. Just like when France played in the World Cup, Croatia had to play England, had to play Belgium, tough teams. When they got to the finals, it was a different ball game altogether. So I'm just hoping that with this, England can do something. Okay, so your final take for, okay, let's do this. Belgium versus Portugal. Raymond, who qualifies?
Belgium.
Marlvin, Italy versus Austria.
Oh, Italy, definitely.
France versus Switzerland.
France.
Okay, and then Croatia versus Spain. That's tricky, though.
That's tricky, but I might just go for Spain.
Spain, yeah. Morata was so too. Okay, let's go on. Wales versus Denmark.
Raymond, that's for you.
Come on.
Wales.
Talk to me.
Wales.
Who?
I think the brilliance of Gareth will show. I know.
There's an Ericsson spirit going around. So.
Let me bring my Madrid allegiance. So Bill might pull up the surprise there.
Okay. That for me, that's a tough call though. And then Netherlands versus Czech Republic.
Netherlands, definitely.
Okay, Germany versus England.
Germany versus England, Germany.
Hey. Okay.
Germany.
Then lastly, Sweden versus which flag is this? Hey, Sweden versus who?
Sweden versus Ukraine.
Sweden versus Ukraine. Okay, all right, Sweden. All right,
Sweden versus Ukraine.
So I'm thinking that the finals will be between France and England. Hopefully. All right.
France and England.
Let's
wow. Yeah. Okay.
I don't think so, but let's go on.
Okay. Let's see.
all right.
Let's go. Let's go.
So now let's talk about our main stuff for the night, which is about FPL. FPL released the prizes a couple of days ago, and we have Raymond to take us through the top 6 teams. So Raymond, please take it away.
Okay, so when it comes to the top 6 teams, I know most fans would be arguing whether these are the top 6 teams or not. But in order not to have any ambiguity, we decided to use the league table from last season. So the top 6 teams on the league table from last season had Man City, Manchester United, Liverpool, Chelsea, with Leicester and West Ham replacing the usual Arsenal and then Tottenham. Now, when the prizes were released starting from Sunday, I think Sunday after church, I was going back home and I started getting some other like, wow, these guys have started. I was expecting the game to be prizes to be released somewhere next week, but it came quite early, such that I was very happy because it meant that I could also make my team quickly. Maybe we'll talk about my team at the end of the show. So the take of players across board, crucial players that as managers we all need to watch. Some managers decide that they have a very solid keeper that they don't change. Some managers will go with the 4.5 keeper and be changing them as time goes on. But some will prefer that if they save their money for their keeper and they don't have to make that decision. That's why I brought Ederson. So you have Ederson, Alisson, Mendy, Schmeichel. These are very solid keepers that you can have them throughout the whole season and not bother about changing them. But aside that, from our review from last season, which we did about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we talked about the fullbacks. So you see that the fullbacks of Cancelo is showing for City, Shaw for Manchester United, Trent and Robo for Liverpool. You have Chilwell. In fact, I'm actually very happy about Leicester, because in Leicester you have James Justin at 5.0. That's really, really good, because if the Leicester guys start getting the attacking game on point, you will really, really benefit from them. Let's not forget about Castagna and Pereira. Though Castagna is, I think, injured, but I'm sure by the time the league starts, he will fully be around. And then we have Cresswell and then Sufal as well. Now, at Man City, our challenge is the Pep rotation. So, who do we choose? In defense, you have to choose at least one. Will you go with Cancelo? Will you go with Diaz, Stones? I have brought my players, but I'm sure after I'm done, you might give your take on who you think is the go-to Man City defender. In midfield, we have Gundogan, Foden, Mahrez. As for KDB, I want to talk about him since he's sure, he's a sure player. But who do we think Pep will use a lot this year? I'm thinking that Gundogan is going to be very clear in the team, but we are not too sure whether he will have that his goal scoring streak from last season. And I'm expecting Pep to trust Foden a bit more, though Foden is now 8.0. And I don't know why Pep does this thing to Mahrez. Every year, Mahrez tries to prove that he does very well when he's given the opportunity, but Pep somehow finds a way to bench him. But I'm looking forward to Pep really using Mahrez this year. We all can't tell unless the season started. We'll know whether the roulette would go on well or not. But as for strike, we are now certain, since Aguero is gone, we are certain that Gabriel Jesus would surely be the one to play. Even though we know the City are looking for it to get Harry Kane as well. For now, Gabriel Jesus is the striker there. For Manchester United, in fact, having Henderson at 5.0 is quite very interesting. Because Henderson at 5.0, to have a top 6 keeper for 5.0, I'm sure some are asking why am I not mentioning De Gea. Reports show that De Gea might leave Manchester United, though it's not confirmed. That's why I've put Henderson there. But if Manchester United begin to have very good clean sheets, then Henderson might be a very good bargain as the season goes on. For now, we can't tell. So we just wait to see what Ole's take would be as time goes on. And then Rashford, Greenwood, Bruno. These ones, most players, most managers are looking forward to them. It's Cavani that my eye is really on. I want to see whether Ole will decide to play Cavani or Martial when Martial is fit. I know you are Man U guys here, so maybe I might pause and ask, who do you think? Would he go with Cavani or Martial?
Don't include me. I'm not a Man U guy.
Sorry. Rowland. Sorry, I meant Rowland.
See, well, for now, unless preseason starts, so let's wait and see. But I think Cavani can play week in, week out. It's either, if we have midweek games, I think Cavani would be rested for those until the Champions League starts. So, but players like Bruno, Rashford will play week in, week out. Yes,
week out, sure, okay. Then with the rest, Liverpool. For Liverpool, we are good to have Van Dijk back, and that will surely bring about some certainty of clean sheets. So the whole Liverpool back line, everyone is worth it. And what noticing is that Gomez is 5.0. He will surely partner Van Dijk. To have a 5.0 Liverpool defender sometimes is quite very good. If the Liverpool clean sheets come back, not like how it was very leaky last season. And then in midfield we have Jota, Mane, Salah. There's comments in the community why Mane is 12.0. At least somewhere saying Mane is not fit to be 12.0 this year. But we hope to see, maybe he building the hospital might bring some luck, and then he will start hitting form this year. If he hits from at least, it gives us option. We can do the Liverpool double up in attack. For me, he should have been at least 10.5. Yes, just like how Uber has been dropped to 10.0, Mane should have been dropped at least to 10.5. That's my take on that. Yeah.
Okay.
In Chelsea, the challenge in Chelsea is we can't tell who Tuchel will decide to play. So we are awash with options, but we just need to be quite careful. My main player in defense I want us to watch out for is Zuma. Zuma is 5.5, quite cheap, but then Zuma is noted for scoring goals via headers, and anytime he scores, he gives us very good points as well. As for Leicester, we are well assured to be able to do well. Come again?
Don't you think Zuma is a rotation risk?
Rowland, we're talking about Zuma being a rotation risk.
Yes.
Not really. I think, okay, it depends. He's a bit of a rotation risk, but I think we'll need to see what Tuchel will say, because it looks like Tuchel prefers to play Rudiger than Zuma, but it looks like sometimes when Zuma gets into the team, he gets a good run of starts. So that's my take with Zuma. I'm just watching out for him. As you said, we just have to wait and see the preseason lineups to know what is quite good in there. And then in Leicester, midfield, Maddison, Telemans, Barnes are all worth it. In Iheanacho, but they are all worth it. No need to talk about. These are guys everybody needs to get. In West Ham, as you talk about fullbacks, Cresswell and Sufal are there, and then Thomas Suchek of last season. I never really benefited from Suchek. Rowland, you benefited from him, but at least we all know that he can do it. Bowen as well, and then Antonio. Yes. So that is it. Any comments on these top six? Any key guy to note from these top six teams?
So just a question for
Marlvin, Rowland.
With Manchester United, I mean the rumors are getting stronger that Sancho is going to make his way to United, possibly on a 350,000 contract a week for 5 years. So
Sure.
how do you think that is going to affect us picking key players from somewhere like United? Did you get that?
Okay, so for Man U, I expect that if Sancho comes, we'll actually even. Yeah, I got that. I'm sure as when Sancho comes, I know is actually going to help our output because Sancho is going to add to the creativity in attack for Man U, and I'm sure I'm expecting Sancho to be around 10, 11 million, or even 9. If he's there, he's worth picking up. And then Sancho would help us get more goals from Bruno and more assists from Bruno and then Cavani as well. So it depends where Ole will play, but I expect that he will have to battle with Greenwood on the right flank. So we wait to see. For now, we can only talk about players that are confirmed yet.
Okay. So between my question is between Trent and Robbo. You know, they have similar stats. If I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Right. So which one?
Yeah.
And last season we saw as well that Robbo was taking more corner kicks, more free kicks than even Trent was at a point in time. We saw the latter stages of the season that we saw TA coming back. Yes. So what's your take on that as well?
It's always a tough call between these two guys, but my personal favorite is Trent. I think that's what I can say. But I think that to save FPL pounds, we can go with Robbo. Since Trent is injured, though we expect that Trent should be fit by the start of the season. And then as the season, in the first 4 games, when we see the trends in the FPL, we can know whether Trent would be the go-to guy or whether Robbo will be the go-to guy. But for now, it's hard to choose between. But for me, Trent is must have for me.
All right, that's fine.
Okay.
So let's move on then.
Yes. So for Spurs, the challenge in Spurs is the midfield. The midfield, they are watched with options in midfield. Lamela, Lo Celso, Mora, Ali. But since they don't have a coach. Yes. sorry, I've classified them as midfield. Please.
Arsenal.
Wow. Yes, Arsenal and Spurs are mid-table based on my classification. Yes. So depending on the coach that they'll get, we can talk. But I don't want to talk about Spurs because they don't have a coach now. So let me skip Spurs and let me move to Arsenal.
Hey, all right.
Please, Spurs fans, please pardon me for that. Okay, I can't talk much about it. Yes, for Arsenal, we need to watch out for Kieran Tierney. I'm expecting that in this, I think this is 3rd season, should do quite a bit better at Arsenal. Oba has now been moved to attack. So I'm just hoping maybe Oba moving to attack might help him now have better output and not disappoint us like last season. Otherwise, I think my go-to guy in Arsenal should be Nicolas Pepe. I'm sure now this is 3rd season at Arsenal. I'm sure now he should be able to bring out better FPL output at 7.5. As for the Leeds players, everybody knows about them. Dallas has been moved to midfield. So it means that their go-to Leeds player in defense should be Luke Ayling, 4.5. We just hope he can give us better outputs there. But I always say a triple up in Leeds can take you throughout the whole season, and it's worth it. For Everton, we have Lucas Digne there, and then we have James Sigerson, Richarlison, DCL. It depends on who. They also don't have a coach now, so we also can't tell how it will go. But these are the guys you as managers we need to watch out for. It's at Aston Villa that I am really, really concerned because we have Buendia, Grealish. These are sure starters. My challenge would be with Traore and El Ghazi. Which of them would play? Because these two guys, anytime they play, they seem to get out very good returns. But Dean Smith hardly gives any of them 10 games on the run. So I'm just hoping maybe one of them might stand out, and then we can have other options apart from Watkins and then Grealish and Buendia in attack. I know Rowland for you, Martinez is sure for you, but I might take their 5.0 defenders. All their defenders are 5.0, which is quite good. Last but not the least for me is Newcastle. Somebody asks why only 3 players. It just tells you that they don't give us any good FPL output. But a 4.5 Dubaka can be good because they have a lot of 4.5 keepers this year. So Palace and then but no, do you know that Alan Saint-Maximin has been moved to forward? He's now being reclassified as a forward. So 6.5 Alan Saint-Maximin can be quite vital in this. Yeah. I saw that from the FPL. Yes, so that is it. But Callum Wilson is also worth there. So that's my take of this mid-table teams. Arsenal and Spurs fans, please forgive me there. Marlvin and Rowland, any comments here on these players?
I mean, someone like Saint-Maximin being reclassified as a forward, I think it makes it very difficult for you to pick him this season in FPL because the forward spots are very limited. You just have 3, and then that's even if you are playing 3 up top. Because if you go on a 3-5-2 formation, for example, having Saint-Maximin as one of your strikers is very, very, very unlikely. But unless you want him as an option, let's say you are trying to free up money, let's say for your midfield or something, then that might be an option. But at the moment, he's not somebody I'll be looking at anytime soon.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I have a question. Thinking about Buendia, who drops the bench for Buendia? Because last season, Traore was played on the right, with El Ghazi played on the left when Grealish was injured. But with Grealish back now, who sits down for Buendia? And how effective do you think he'll be in FPL?
Rowland, do you think Aston Villa will spend such amount of money on Buendia and allow him to come sit on the bench? I don't think so. I'm sure he will surely be moved into the team as much as possible. Buendia is a player I was watching from 2 seasons ago. I was reading an article on I think it was written by Andy Clark. He's a very good statistician. He writes for the Premier League, and he was saying that Buendia is one player he never gets why he's not being given credit because his chance creating rate can be compared to that of De Bruyne, though De Bruyne is playing for Man City. And I'm sure now that he's going to get a very solid attack with Watkins and then Grealish by him, I'm sure his output is going to be better there. So that's my take. I have followed Buendia for a while, so I think he might be able to prove his worth here.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
So then let's move on.
Can we move on?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Rowland.
Well, Ray, I want to say a big thank you for
the bottom half
the
teams.
good work you do. The two slides before, I think it's in depth. So let's move on to the bottom half teams. So for these teams, we have Wolves, Palace, Southampton, Brighton, and Burnley. And with Wolves parted ways with Nuno Espirito Santo. That was last season after 4 years in charge. And they now have a new coach called Bruno Lage. And he was a Portuguese Premier League winner with Benfica. That was in 2019. So he was the one who also introduced João Felix into the mainstream team. And that season, he had 20 goals and 11 assists. So looking at that and bringing it into this one, then I think it bodes well for Fabio Silva because he's a 17-year-old who was given a chance by Nuno Espirito. So I think that with this kind of comparison, then he can also turn Fabio Silva into a world-class player. We just hope and see and wait, sorry. So looking at Jimenez is the standout player at Wolves, of course. I mean, he scored 4 goals last season because of the head injury he had in the Arsenal game. And also, he scored 17 goals the previous season. That was 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
So it shows how potent he is in front of attack. I think that season as well, Adama Traore had 9 assists. So the link-up play between those two is good. And looking at Neto and how well Neto played last season, I think he together with Podence and Traore can give good service for Jimenez to do the job for us. So I think he should be considered every season out. I mean, I just feel that even though he's like an Asamoah one goal project. I mean, the one goal project it's assures you that come what may, Masa Obeshe, at least 1, 2, 3 goals, 3 games he would score, and that's what we want. We want consistency in FPL. I mean, sometimes we want those high ceiling players, but in your team, if you want balance, obviously consistency. Now looking at Saiz, I think everyone knows about him. His goal threats, from corners, from set pieces. His left foot is a really good left foot, which he can score with at any point in time. So I think he's one to look out for. Cody was my surprise at 4.5, but I think that is okay. He doesn't have much goal threat unless he ups his game or the new coach brings something new into his game. So we move on to Crystal Palace. I think Zaha, Benteke, Guaita. And Zaha, they're just Waka Palace. No matter what he does, he stays.
Oh, Charlie.
I don't get it. I don't know. Marlvin, do you have anything to say about Zaha?
I mean, season in, season out, there's always rumors about him leaving. Today is Everton, tomorrow is Arsenal, tomorrow is Spurs. But unless maybe his contract really runs out, he's possibly stuck at Crystal Palace. Exactly. Because honestly, they need him. He's their most creative player. So if Zaha leaves, I'm not sure someone like Eze can shoulder the responsibility himself. So Zaha is really, really key to Crystal Palace.
Yes, because Crystal Palace finished 14th with 44 points last season. And I mean, only 11 goals were scored by Zaha last season. I don't think it's only 11, but with the kind of creativity that he possesses, with the kind of ball skills, with the kind of play, interchange play, he's such a great player. But the petulance, the way he gets frustrated easily. I tell you, if Zaha doesn't give you an 8, Zaha will give you a 1. Why? Because he definitely Crystal Palace concede. So 2, you get a yellow card. So 1. So if you are going in for Zaha, I would advise you very careful. Other than that, you get your 1, and you'll be frustrated because he plays so well in a game, and you come out with 1 point. You ask yourself, what could have been? Benteke too did well last season. I think Benteke had 10 goals. He scored 10 goals. Towards the end of the season, he did quite well. And with a new coach who believe in him, like Hodgson believed in him towards the latter part of the season, I think he'll do good. And for me, he's even a better option than Zaha.
Sure.
In attack. Just that in attack, we have a plethora of players who we can choose from. But aside that, I mean, if he's not in your thoughts or you want a differential, Benteke is the one for you. Then Guaita, looking at the stats, he had 8 clean sheets last season. It's not bad, but the Crystal Palace team itself, the defense is aging. You have Ward, you have Cahill. I mean, they are all old. Sacco. So I would not go into the defense, but I just think that these 3 players would be good for you because Guaita also makes a lot of saves because the defense is not good. Now moving on to Southampton. I mean, Ings. What can we say about Ings? 2 seasons ago, he was shy of getting a goal king by just a goal and 22 goals. The season that Vardy got 23. Then the following season, he was hampered by injuries. He scored, I think, let me just check, 12 goals or so. Yes, he scored 12 goals last season. So even with his injuries, it's not that bad. But I just think that, can you trust a player who you just put in and maybe after 2 minutes from kickoff, he gets injured? for 8 million as well. I mean, when there are other players who you can also have a look at, I don't think so. James Ward-Prowse is just a player who flutters to the sea for me. Excellent at free kicks, corners, but I mean, he does all the work throughout the game. He gets chances, corners. When he hits a corner kick, you're looking at Vestergaard to score, and he misses it in the end. He could have had 3 assists. He ends up with 0, and he gives you your 2 points as they also keep conceding. McCarthy. I think McCarthy did well last season, but his place was under a bit of attack from Foster. So that can't really tell us who will be in goal this season. We don't know if it's Foster or we don't know if it's McCarthy. If it's Foster, then it's a bargain for us because it's a 4 million goalkeeper. If it's McCarthy, 4.5. But looking at their defense, it's not something that I really want to go into because the defense is not that good. Vestergaard had 3 goals last season. It's not bad. Armstrong, Walcott, those people, they can be rotated. Those players can be rotated anytime. So I don't want people to look at them. But Shea Adams, not only his goal scoring, but his assists are very good. Because looking at last season, he had 5 assists. He scored 9 goals. And even with that, he had limited amount of time to play. Playing time was limited. So looking at the Southampton team, I think Inks and Shea Adams are the people to look out for. Now, Brighton, when we come to Brighton, because of the fixtures that they have, I'm thinking that the defense is the best place to go. Robert Sanchez, though they shield their keeper well, so they don't face so many shots. So it makes it difficult going for Robert Sanchez. You usually go for a keeper because of his save points. And if they face less shots and he concedes, then it means that you're going away with just 1 point. But if you have a team like Aston Villa where they concede, looking at them. So I think the defense should be looked at. Midfield, Trossard, not bad. But Lamptey, Dunk, Lewis Dunk, White, they should be players that should be looked out for. I mean, Dunk is the most expensive. That's 5 million. Then lastly to Burnley. Burnley, I just think 2 players there, Pope and Chris Wood. Chris Wood because of his consistency. 12 goals, 13 goals. Fantastic. Taylor because of his assists. And Pope, we all know what Pope does. When the prices came out, I was complaining that it was 5.5. I thought it should have been 0.5 less. The 3 of us spoke about it. Everyone had his take on it. But I think that for Burnley, Pope, 11 clean sheets, even though he got injured a lot last season, fantastic player. So Pope, Chris Wood. So that's it for me from the bottom half teams. So any questions, any comments?
Marvin, anything to say?
No, I think he's pretty much covered it quite well. So I think that's good from Rowland. Thanks for that. Learned a lot.
Oh, all right. So Ray, we can move on.
Okay. My concern is with but I'll talk about Tariq Lamptey. I'm just hoping Tariq Lamptey will be able to play more consistently. Last season, sometimes you play 45 minutes and be subbed off, so it means that you miss the clean sheet, the clean sheet point as well. Yeah. We beg Graham Potter, please. Anytime Tariq Lamptey plays, you should please allow him to play 61 minutes before he subs him off.
You should hope he's even as Brighton, by the way, because Tottenham are chasing him serious. The team without a coach.
Oh, okay. A coach.
But I think he just runs. What's this? If you keep running, won't you get it? Stop small. When you run, you pause. You run, you stop. Over Johnny up and down. He thinks he's a robot. Anyway, let's go.
Marvin.
Okay, all right. So I'll be taking us through the promoter sides. I would like to start possibly in alphabetical order. So I'm going to start with Brentford. Now, Brentford qualified for the Premier League through the Championship playoffs, and they beat Swansea 2-0 in the finals. So that's how they made it up into the Premier League. So congratulations if there are any Brentford fans around that we are speaking to. Now, I think we should start.
Please, we are not limited to Ghana. We are international. Okay.
I think we should start with no other player than our 6.5 striker, Ivan Toney. Now, he set a record in the championship last season, scoring 31 goals. And he also had 10 assists to his name. Now, if he's even able to emulate half of these stats in the Premier League, we will be looking at a player similar to Patrick Bamford, who came from the Championship and came into the Premier League, his full season in the Premier League. He racked up 17 goals and 7 assists. So even if Ivan Toney can give us even 15 goals and 5 assists, that's FPL royalty right there. And I think that he is a key player that we should look at in Brentford and in the Premier League. He's really, really one to watch. Moving on to Ethan Pinock. Now, I selected Ethan Pinock, a defender. He's 6.1 in height, and he's a towering defender, like a very, very lanky, like no nonsense, looking like a no nonsense defender, like I'm coming for you kind of thing. And FPL, we like it when doing set pieces and there are crosses and there are corners and things. And he seems like someone who would be at the end of those corners and those set pieces. So he's one that you can look at. You can also look at other defenders at Brentford, like Rico Henry and maybe Pontius Janssen. But if I was supposed to pick 2 of their defenders, I'll possibly pick. Come again?
He's their captain, the Janssen guy, right?
I'll have to check. I'm not too sure about that. Possibly, but I'm not too sure. Yeah. So I mean, if Ethan Pinock and Rico Henry were pretty much in terms of category, the best defenders in the championship, two of them, and it's possibly going to be, if you remember. Similarly, before Leeds started their campaign last season, people were talking about Ayling and Dallas. It's possible we'll be looking at Pinock and Henry as well, and over time we'll see who will be the Dallas and who will be the Ayling. That's who you'll be choosing and who you will not be picking up. Thirdly, I picked Bryan Mbeumo, 5.5. He's a midfielder. Now, he is a midfielder, but it's likely he'll be playing up top with Ivan Toney. And that's why I selected him. And in FPL, we like it when people are playing in positions that they are not really being stated for. So, for example, somebody like Dallas, he was stated as a defender, but he was playing in midfield. So, if you have someone like Bryan Mbeumo, has been stated as a midfield, but he's playing up front with Ivan Toney, that means he's likely, of course, to be in the final third, and he's likely to be more involved in the goals. So, he's definitely one to be looked at, because if he scores a goal compared to Ivan Toney, he'll get an extra point. If he keeps a clean sheet, he gets an extra point, because he is a midfielder, but he's playing up front with Ivan Toney. So he's a player that I believe that we should keep a close look at. Now, moving on to Norwich, the Pukki party. I mean, everybody knows when Pukki was in the Premier League 2 seasons ago. He started off really, really, really well, and then really, really tailed off. Actually, I was happy. I was actually one of the people who got him. I think in the second game, I got him. I think he banked.
17 points. I remember.
Yeah, he gave a hat trick. He gave me a hat trick. So he's one definitely to look at, because in the championship that just passed, he scored 26 goals and 4 assists. So he's really up there as well, and then one to look at. Now let's move on to Tim Krul, 4.5, and he kept 18 clean sheets in 36 appearances. So every clean sheet, let's say after every other game, he's a showstopper. And I don't expect Norwich to keep too many clean sheets. However, what I do expect is that they will face a lot of shots, and somebody like Tim Krul will get a lot of save points. So even if they don't get clean sheets, they are possibly going to get a lot of save points from Tim Krul, and that's why I selected him. Moving on to Max Aarons. Max Aarons is one of the defenders that you're going to find moving up and down the flanks. He's likely going to give you some assist points as well. So that's why I put him as part of the defense. You can look at maybe somebody like Hanley as well. I don't expect too much from him. As I said, I don't expect Norwich to keep too many clean sheets. But what happens is that if Norwich are to keep clean sheets, somebody like Hanley will possibly be the one making the blocks, the interceptions. So when it comes to bonus points, he is likely to rack up bonus points from that section. So that's why I think he's one to look at as well. Moving on to the last team, which is Watford. Now we start with Ismaila Sarr. It's no surprise that amongst the Watford team, he is the one who is highly priced at 6.0. He racked up 13 goals and 4 assists in the championship last season. And I think he'll possibly be the creative heartbeat for the Watford team this season. So he's definitely one to look at. Now, for Watford, though, I think we should pay a lot of attention to their defense and their backline, and that's why I have here Francisco Serialta. Now he's a 4.5 million defender, 14 clean sheets in 24 starts. He's dangerous from corners and of the aerial threat that he possesses. And you know that in FPL we love a defender who can score and keep a clean sheet and get all 3 bonus points. So he's one to look at in that aspect as well. That's why I put him there. Francisco Serialta, 4.5, a lot of value from him. And also sticking to the back line, we have Danny Rose. Now, Danny Rose also 4.5, playing
Francisco
on
Serialta.
the left flank.
Okay.
Yes. Danny Rose, 4.5. He's going to offer a lot of creativity on the left. He's going to possess a lot of attacking threat on the left as well. And couple that with some assists and clean sheets, I think Danny Rose is someone or another player also to look at. However, just a little sign of caution. He hasn't played in a very long time, I think in about 18 months. So I'll just, if it was me, I'll just possibly look at the preseason games, see how he fares before I make my decision on him. But if he hits the ground running, he's definitely someone to have a look at. Lastly, I just want to pick on their 2 more players. Their goalkeeper, Ben Foster, is no longer the number 1 for them. Is one Daniel Bachmann. And I think if we are talking about Watford defense, because Watford kept the most clean sheets in the championship last season, 23 clean sheets out of 46. So definitely worth looking at as well. And just a midfielder I just want to make mention of. He's called João Pedro. He's a Brazilian starlet, 5.5 midfielder. I think we should just have that at the back of our minds. Possibly let's observe how he's going to perform. He's just one, maybe he'll be a creative force in the Watford midfield. It's a wait and see for me, but he's definitely one to look at. And that's for me on the promoted teams.
Okay. I think looking at it, we've been able to exhaust for managers, FPL managers out there to know exactly what kind of, have a fair idea of the players that they want to bring in. And I think that it's usually the promoted teams that also help. So Marlvin, we are grateful for the in-depth
Rowland, can you hear
analysis
me?
you've given to us. I can.
Marlvin.
Yeah, we're on. Can hear you.
Yeah, Ray, we are on. We can hear you. Ray, you good?
Yeah.
Any suggestions? The way you were noting down the Francisco Serialta there, I know you buy him. Hey, Ray.
I'm not sure Ray can hear us. So.
Ray can hear us.
Looks like we're having some challenges. Okay, sorry. Okay, let's go.
All right, so can we go to the next slide, please?
We good.
Ray, we can move on.
I can hear you. Let's go. I can hear you. Let's go.
Yes, let's move to the next slide. Let's look at the drafts that we have so far and look.
Okay.
And let's round up.
Great. Oh, okay. So I'm sure. Okay. So I'm sure most managers. Okay. Yeah. So I'm sure most managers would then ask, okay, the how should we be able to choose our teams? You people should show us how to be able to choose our teams. In fact, we'll come much into that, but just a quick draft. Last week I said that I had set up my team already, waiting for the game to be launched. So as soon as the prizes started coming on Sunday, I think by Monday, when we had gotten about half of the teams, I told you, Rowland, that looking at how the prizes were, I could estimate the prices of the players left, and I could tell which players I need to sacrifice and which players to have. And then I had made up my team. So as soon as it was launched, I think, was it yesterday or Tuesday, I just, around 11 a.m., I just made my team. I was certain about the players I have. So this is my team for game week 1. This is my team for game week 1. All things being equal, this is my team. I have to sacrifice and I have 4.5 Sanchez. I have Trent. I told you Trent over Robo. I have a Villa defender in target because of assist. I have Cresswell. We talked about fullbacks from last season's review. Our lessons from last season, the fullbacks are very crucial. So Cresswell, West Ham are a team to target for the beginning of the games. And then I have triple Aston Villa. So I have Target, Buendia, and then Watkins. And then I have Salah and Bruno are indispensable. So then it will be left with Madison to make the 4 with Buendia. And then I'll have Calvert-Lewin and Iheanacho. My challenge now is I want Ivan Toney. Which of these 3 needs to go out for Ivan Toney to come in? Because I feel that Ivan Toney might punish me. But my challenge also that last year, Calvert-Lewin punished me when I decided not to play him. So now I'm now caught in between. I can't do without Nacho. I can't do without Watkins. Or can you guys help me out? What shall I do? Marlvin, Rowland.
For me, I think you have Watkins. You have 3 Aston Villa players. I mean, you have Buendia. Buendia is a goal scorer. He's a goal creator. Watkins, last season, he did well. I think, how many goals? 13 or 14. But all the same, I mean, if you have someone like Buendia in your team who's going to be starting, then you can easily give up Watkins for Ivan Toney.
What I was going to ask is, sorry, I don't have the fixtures list in front of me. I know.
Okay, no worry. I wait. I can pull the fixture list. I play as a backup here. Yeah, it's here. So the fixture list is here. Can you see it?
So okay, so Brentford, they face Arsenal, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa. Possibly, just from the top of my head, what I would do is that I would possibly keep Watkins for the first 3 games. Because the first 3 games for Aston Villa, I think, are really some great fixtures. I can't see it here, but I would possibly have
Watford, Newcastle, Brentford.
Brentford, yeah.
Where's the Aston? Oh, yeah, okay, I can see now. Okay, exactly. So what I would possibly do is I would possibly maybe have I'll have Watkins for the first 3 games, definitely, because they are playing 2 promoted sides, and including Newcastle. And Newcastle, is not every time that they have a good performance. In fact, a lot of the times they perform below par. And then possibly switch to Ivan Toney in game week 4 because they face Brighton instead of Watkins playing Chelsea, because Chelsea is definitely going to be a tough game for Aston Villa, and possibly do the switch then, because at that time they will have Aston Villa will have Chelsea, Everton, and United, whereas Brentford will have Brighton, Wolves, and then Liverpool. I might just do the switch there.
Okay. So, but don't you think that? Okay.
I still maintain that even though Watkins has nice fixtures, right? Let's put in all your eggs in one basket for, say, a mid-table team. Why don't you rather look at Ivan Toney? Because you'd want to you want to create a name for himself against Arsenal, against Crystal Palace, against Aston Villa. I could be wrong anyway, but what Marlvin is saying makes perfect sense. Any logical person would do that. But I'm just looking at the fact that you want to hit the ground running, the way Pookie did, the way Bamford did. So it can be either way. But I just think that, what Marlvin is saying makes a lot of sense as well.
And I get where Rowland, you're coming from. somebody like Ivan Toney, he reminds me of somebody like Zaha, somebody like Troy Deeney, you know, those arrogant kind of like players. That's how
Yes.
Ivan Toney is. Yeah, so he really, really want to prove a point. So I mean, it's possible. I mean, Arsenal. I don't think it depends on what they do to their defensive lineup, but I feel like they can possibly have a go at Arsenal. I don't think Arsenal at the moment is.
That's what I'm also thinking about. Arsenal usually has a slow start to the season.
Mm-hmm.
Come again?
And
Arsenal usually has a slow start to the season since Arsene Wenger left. When this man took over, Unai, what's his name?
Emery.
Good evening. Good evening. What's his name?
Unai Emery.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that the slow start has been there. So, like we showed, Arsenal is a mid-table team now, right? So what is there to be afraid of? And what better chance to announce yourself in the Premier League than against Arsenal? It's a traditionally big club. So you, like he said, the kind of suave that guy has. He feel himself. He sees, I hold the team. So anything that you can do. So well, it lies with you. But I have not made any draft of my own. I don't know if Marlvin, you've made yours. But
definitely not.
Yeah.
So okay. Yes.
And Raymond, you know me. It's even a week to time if you know.
Same here. Anyway, I think
Raymond I'm an any planner. I'm an any planner.
Do you have another draft?
Oh, the other draft, just a second draft, just a little bit different. It was only in defense. My challenge is, should I go with Sanchez in defense or should I go with Martinez? So if I go with Sanchez, then it means I'll need to swap my Villa defender and bring Lamptey, a Brighton defender, and put Martinez there. And then I have to downgrade to Kufa from Cresswell in order to make the move permanent. But I'm not looking much at this because Villa would have quite difficult games from game week 4 going. So it's either I would just boycott the Villa start, and I know that whatever happens when I'm wildcarding around game week 6 or 7, I'm then going to bring Martinez as my go-to keeper for the season. That being said, one of our viewers is saying that Pukki for the first 3 games. Somebody is saying that Pukki's party would surely hit, despite Pukki having tough fixtures. Pukki for the first 3 games. Okay. Great. Okay, so the fixtures for Pukki. Yeah, I'm here. I'm doing it. So Pukki has Liverpool, Man City, and then Pukki's first.
The person who said that.
But you know, okay. So
it's you.
A person said that really wants to.
Who said that?
I wonder.
But you know, sometimes what happens in FPL is that when we sometimes. Yes, but sometimes people discredit. We discredit some people's, and then they are the ones who actually. Don't forget, Pukki scored against Liverpool. He scored against Man City in the first 5 games of last 2 seasons. Let's not forget that. The Pukki party might hit and we might all miss it. That's somebody's take. That's not my take per se, but that's
definitely not getting Pukki by the way. But
yeah. So I'm sure. So we'll talk much about our teams in our next shows. They will have much more insight from preseason games and then the Euros, and then we can make more take. I think Cavani. We've spoken about Cavani. We said Cavani depends on what Ole will do, but we will just have to wait and see with Cavani there. One of our viewers was asking about that. That Samara Limited. Yeah, great. So Rowland, can you bring us to a close?
This has been the FPL Ambassador show. I hope we've all had a good time. We've enjoyed ourselves with the kind of information that we've given. Please, if you want, you can just, when we'll come up with our own FPL Ambassadors show league where managers can join the league as well. So for now, what it is that you kindly subscribe to our channel for more FPL updates. Every week, Thursday, 6 p.m., we come live on YouTube. So kindly subscribe to the channel, like it. We tend to see a lot of people watching it, and we appreciate it. But as you are watching, kindly subscribe as well. If you have any comments, kindly put them there. Let us know if we are not doing anything right. If you are doing something right, let us know. As I said, and I continue to say, we accept positive criticisms. So we are happy to come your way this time again. And I want to say a big thank you to FPL Ambassador himself, Raymond Nketsiah. Thank you.
Quick one. Do people actually know why he's called FPL Ambassador? I don't know. Has he explained it?
Raymond?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think with that smiley face, we can leave it here. I think he's getting a bit of he's getting
Charlie, goodbye, viewers.
All right, see you. See you.
Guys, we'll meet next week. Take care.
Okay, so thank you everyone for making time to watch our stream. We are happy to have you all here, as we always do, for our FPL stream. And thank you. Sorry for the slight network challenge there as well. Okay. Thank you.